Hey guys, welcome or welcome back. My name is Grace. So I took a unexpected break for the past 2 weeks. I didn't mean to, I think I was just a little burned out. And also I haven't even picked up a book for the past 2 weeks. But I did start reading one and I am pretty excited about it. It is The Last One by Will Dean. The reviews for this book are all over the place. Some people really love it and other people say it's too ridiculous. Like you have to suspend too much belief to follow this book. But sometimes I like books like that. So I am enjoying it so far. I'm on page like 50 or so. The book is 441 pages. So the premise of this book is this woman goes on this luxurious vacation with her boyfriend. He paid for it. And she's not comfortable with these kinds of things. It's not the lifestyle she's used to. But they take off from Southampton to New York. They're out to sea for one day. They go to bed. The very next day she wakes up and everybody aboard the ship is gone. Going down the corridors, like every door is open, the beds are made, and it looks clean. Like it doesn't look like everybody left in a hurry or anything like that. And she's trying to figure out what happened, where did everybody go? And this literally happens like on the second chapter. So I was like, what else is gonna happen for 441 pages, you know? That's where I'm at right now. Well, I read a little bit more, but I'm trying to figure out like what's a spoiler and what isn't. But so far I'm enjoying it, just like the premise of it, because she describes it as she's on this luxurious ship with all this food, all these amenities. So it's not like she's on this shipwrecked boat, you know, she has food, she has safety in it, but she also feels very unsafe because she can't get a signal and she doesn't know what happened. So that's the book so far. So it is 7:30 right now. I think I'm going to get Iggy in the shower, do his night stretches with him. His legs have gotten like really tight, and based on the amount of physical therapy he's getting throughout the day, I think the best thing I could do when he's home is just like let him relax and then stretch him every night for like 20 minutes, you know? So that's what I'm gonna do, and then I'm gonna get him to bed and I will probably keep reading, but we'll see.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
You're a happy boy?
It's sick.
Iggy's sick. Oh. He has to stay home.
So how?
Because he's so sick.
It's sick.
So sick. Oh no.
It's
Jeez.
It's
Jeez.
it's
He's been aggressively faking sick lately, but it's so cute, you know? Okay, it is now 10:30. I've been reading for a couple of hours. I'm 30% of the way through and I am invested. It's just such a weird story. I don't want to give spoilers. There's just enough eerie things going on that just confuse the shit out of you. So things like the foghorn that's supposed to make a sound that can be carried for 10 miles, it doesn't work. The electricity goes out. People brought their dogs aboard. The dogs are still there, but there's no people. It's just like little things are piling up and I'm very invested. The only reason why I stopped reading is my Nook battery was low. So I'm charging it right now. I'm gonna hop in the shower and hopefully it's like charged up enough for me to read. It's 10:30 though and I start work at 5 in the morning, so I don't know. Hey guys, so it is now Thursday night. I am 71% of the way through the book. I have been enjoying it. One of the reasons why I've been able to get through this book is my job has just been really slow for a few weeks. My job is very like feast or famine. That's what it's always been like. So when it's busy, I'm working like 12-hour days. I'm logging in on the weekend and there's always something to do. But I feel like when it's slow, it's just as stressful because it's just like mentally exhausting to not have anything to do all day. So like I've been volunteering for projects. I've been helping out other departments. Anytime my boss asks, like I volunteer, but it's really still not enough to fill like 8 hours. And that's just like mentally taxing. My coworkers like constantly asking me, do you think something's gonna happen? Do you think this is bad? And like, what do I know? You know, we just gotta get through it, but it has been like mentally draining. So this book has been a welcome distraction. So I don't think I mentioned last night, but like when Cass, our main character, is running through the ship, first trying to get her thoughts, like she comes up with a few scenarios. All right, so one of the first theories she has is like, what if pirates came aboard and they took people hostages, especially because it was a luxury cruise? But then she's like, okay, well, how would they have taken 1,600 people and just have left me, you know? She brings up other supernatural like ghost stories like the Flying Dutchman and the Mary Celeste, where crew have found these ships like perfectly fine with enough food and like amenities where people could survive, but like for whatever reason they've been deserted. So the supernatural element was introduced, and then finally, like I think around the 40% mark, we figure out what's going on. And it is kind of like a predictable twist. Like if you're just thinking logically, like that's something that would have crossed your mind, like this could be what's happening. But it has been like very engrossing. I'm trying to think of what I can say that's not going to give like things away. There's like a lot of sentences in the book that kind of like stick out at me, like, wait, how was this relevant, or what did that mean? Like just very like cryptic sentences. Or also like certain themes, like, okay, and I can say this one because I don't know where it's going at this point, but like there's dogs aboard the ship, right? And so it's one of those things where she's like, it doesn't make sense that people would bring their pets and leave them if they had to leave in a hurry. So like it's one more thing that just messes with her mind. But there's one dog that's like very, very big and aggressive, and it's just like the only dog that's like that. And it's just mentioned a few times how aggressive this dog is, so like I have a feeling it's gonna get loose, but I have no idea. But yeah, so that's where I'm at right now in the book. All right, it is Friday. I finished the book last night. Overall, I would give it 3.5 out of 4 stars. It was a page turner. I was into it. I just like didn't love the ending. It's just like an ending that I don't like. But I decided I'm not going to give spoilers here, but I will talk about the book on Sunday. It is Friday about 11 a.m. So what I have planned for today is we're going to go to Disneyland. We're going to pick up the kids from school, take them to Disneyland, and then we have Goofy's Kitchen reservations like around 7. Saturday, I don't know what I have planned, but Sunday I'm going to do like more of an in-depth review, like if you don't mind spoilers. Because for me, I like hearing like spoilers about books sometimes, just so I can see if I could actually be into it. And sometimes like if I've already read a book, I want to hear that other person's like opinions on the plot twist and stuff. So I'll do that on Sunday. Yeah, so I still have a couple more hours of work, and then that's what the plan is.
You look on your seat. What?
Welcome to the Incredicoaster. I'm Elastigirl. For your safety, make sure you pull down on the shoulder.
Hi, Mom. Hi, Pop. What's up? Are you a happy puppy?
I like the ghost one better with the Donald. No. I'm just saying, it's cuter. The one with the ghost and the Donald? Peak Disney adult. Let's go home. You know I would, Steven, but that's not the first balloon you've ever bought. Let's go home. I don't know, Pop. I don't know. I don't know, little Papa.
En tan solo 15 minutos. Prepárense para alcanzar una estrella. Lo que están a punto de ver va más allá de sus sueños más increíbles.
hold it low. No. Wow. Wow. You really don't trust me, do you? Unfortunately, and I do trust you. Wow. All because of Walter. I don't know if you should be thinking about a guy named Walter, you know? The things we learn at Disneyland. When we sit down. Are you hungry? We're gonna go eat. No way. You're stuck? Careful.
Are you okay?
Are you okay? It's like a kite.
Oh, you stole my ancient item made from the funnest forges.
If you don't stop, I'm gonna drop you off in a forest. Let's see how well you do. She's talking like a little wizard.
Forest, and not all of them.
Huh? What are you doing? I got stuck. Iggy, we can't let it go, okay? You can't let it go.
Are you okay? Are you okay, Mom?
Yeah. Blue?
Yeah.
Boop. 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 Oh. Whoops. Oops. Whoa. Say, how are you?
How are you?
Hi, Minnie.
Hi,
He likes your balloon.
Oh! It goes. I didn't know that.
And you know what? The peppermint.
Little demon child.
Alright, good morning. It is now Sunday. So as you saw on Friday, we went to Disneyland. We had a pretty good time. Iggy rode the Incredicoaster twice. That's his current favorite ride. We went on Soarin', and one thing that has been getting on my nerves when we go to Disneyland is a lot of the rides break down consistently. There was a time where we went to Disneyland like 3 times in a row, and each time Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway was broken down. And usually when that happens, because we have a DAS pass, we just get like a multi-attraction pass where you can use it anywhere else. But like those are the rides that we go down for. So we got one because Goofy Sky School was broken. So okay, that's fine. We're gonna use that at Roger Rabbit. We walk in, we go to Roger Rabbit, that's broken down. And it's like, okay, let's just go to Mickey and Minnie's. And that one breaks down. So it's just been annoying. Like, I know things happen, but if they're happening this consistently, like, that has to be looked at. Like, I know that I have a pass and I go almost every weekend, but I can't imagine being someone that, like, saved up to go to a trip and having that experience. You know what I mean? Like, it's your one day, you don't have a pass, maybe you're from out of town. So that, I think, sucks. But anyways, like I said, I was going to talk about what was it called? The title of the book I just read reminds me of the Riley Sager title, so I feel like I keep confusing them. Last One by Will Dean. Okay, so I gave you the plot line earlier in the video, where it's this woman that goes on this cruise ship with her boyfriend, wakes up, and she's all alone. That's where I left off because I didn't want to give you any spoilers. So if you're planning to read this video or you don't like spoilers in general, this video is over for you. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one. So where I left off in this book, I didn't want to give you spoilers as I was reading it. You know, this woman wakes up on the second, or she doesn't even know what day it is, but she wakes up on this cruise ship, realizes she's all alone. The ship appears completely abandoned, and she's walking around trying to figure things out. Her cell phone doesn't work. A lot of, like, the internet access or, like, anything where she would be able to get information is not working. But the ship is going full steam ahead. So she's walking around the ship, and she actually does run into a few people. One of them is this guy, Daniel. He was supposed to be like a keynote speaker about keeping your carbon footprint low, sustainability, and all that. And he's just kind of like chill about it and trying to figure things out. His backstory is that, like, he has a kid at home that he didn't really spend a lot of time with because he is someone that wants to, like, be free, like, go ski when he wants, go surf when he wants. And so that's his priority over his kid. That's the story that comes out. But he's very athletic, very fit. They walk around and then they run into another girl. Her name is Franny, and she looks like she's like 16, but she's actually 22, and she's very intelligent, very smart. She has like red hair, very pretty, and she knows a lot. Like, when they're going through certain things, she's like studying psychology or philosophy, and she just is very aware of things. So around when Daniel, our main character Kaz, and Franny are getting together, one of them is like, you know what, let's just calm down. We're on this luxury liner. We have food, we have water, and we should be docking in New York shortly, because even though they don't know how long they've been out for, they know their cruise was supposed to be only like a week or so. So they're like, you know what, we'll just dock in New York and we'll be fine. And then Franny's like, we're not docking in New York. Look at the sun on the horizon. We're heading towards Antarctica. So that's like one little cliffhanger that we're just like, like, where are they going? You know, and they don't know how to operate the ship, obviously. And then the three of them hear something. They go to investigate the noise, and it's another passenger. His name is Walter. He's in his 60s. He's older, kind of. And he's like the unsteady one. Because at first, like, because when Kaz ran into Daniel and Franny, she didn't feel like she was in danger. But Walter has like this unhinged quality to him, where she was just like, now I'm a little scared to be like on this ship with this man. They catch him in the jewelry shop, breaking like all the glass and having like an armful of really expensive watches. And he was like, this is the least this damn ship can do, like, compared to what they're putting me through. Nobody's around, this and that. This isn't what I paid for. And he's very like money conscious throughout the whole book. So, alright, so these four characters are trying to figure out what's going on. And little things are piling up. Like, they go up to the horn because they're like, you know what? This foghorn can be heard for 10 miles. Let's just keep pushing it until someone comes. They go and the foghorn's out. And they go around the ship inspecting other things like the lifeboats. The lifeboats are locked down. They finally like remove one somehow, and it drops to the water and it sinks. So they have all these things where like the trepidation is building on as to like what's going on. Finally, they go down to like one of the lobbies. I don't remember how they went down, like if they were summoned or they heard something, but they go down and a TV turns on, and oh no, let me back it up. So while they're on the ship, the electricity is running, the ship is running, they just don't know what's going on. One day, the electricity goes out, and like all these like doors were automated, and they cannot open them. So suddenly they no longer have access to food or water or anything. And now they're like, their trepidation is building even more. After like a day or two, they go downstairs into like the hotel lobby. I don't remember if something called them or why they went there, but a TV turns on. and it's just this woman talking, and she's just like she's basically just like a reality TV host. She's talking in that like stilted voice, not really giving a lot of information, and she tells the passengers, "You guys are being broadcast right now, please watch your language." And one of them curses because he's like, "What the hell? Like, what is happening?" So she cuts the TV and it goes silent. But now they're aware that something's going on, so they go back and they're begging her to turn it back on. And she's like, "That was your final warning. If you say something, I'm cutting off the communication." So she lets them know they're on this reality show and that everybody that was on the ship with them is now safe. So a lot of them are relieved that their parents or partners are safe, but she will only answer one question at a time from each of them. And throughout the book, like, they ask stupid questions, or like they don't phrase it the best way to get the most information. So she's allowing them questions, but she's like very much holds the ball in her court. So anytime she doesn't like something, she cuts them. She doesn't give them information that she doesn't want to. And she tells them that they're going to have challenges to get off the boat. And she does give them the option. She was just like, right now you can forfeit and just, we'll send a lifeboat and pick you up. But the prize is $5 million. And all of them have reasons why, I mean, anybody would, where $5 million would help them. And the three people that we met in the beginning, Kaz, Daniel, and Franny, they make a plan like, hey, let's just help each other on these challenges and we'll split it. They're including Walter in this, but Walter's the first one to be like, no, then it's not worth it. $5 million really isn't a lot after taxes and deductions. Then you want to split it 4 ways. Like, no, if I win, I'm keeping it. So he's always just kind of been like a loner that way. But they do their challenges, and the challenges are, some of them seem very dangerous. Walter gets Mind, where he goes in the library and he has to like solve a crossword puzzle. Kaz is next, hers is Water, and she has to jump out the front of the ship and trust that her partners can grab her while she's out to sea and pull her into a lifeboat or into like a different part of the ship. But she's calculating how fast the ship is going, so she doesn't feel good about it, but she does that. And then like just the way that challenge worked out, she was like, I could have died. Like, it kind of changes the dynamic of the game where they're just like, would they actually let us die? Because they kind of were telling themselves like, maybe they're not too far, maybe there's like a lifeboat that's just out of like vision. But the more time that goes on, the more they're like, we could die. Like, this isn't like a reality show we've seen before. Daniel's challenge is body, because he's like the most fit. That's what he volunteered for, which is a rock climbing thing. But the rock wall was like, it had like dangerous elements to it, like sharp knives, nails, where he was cutting himself, and then he had to do a zip line into a pool and grab a key that's like the same color as the pool floor. And it appears that when he did his challenge, he died because the pool cover closed over him. They call the host of this, the woman that's talking to them on the TV, Lips, because really all you see is her lips. And she won't answer if they died or not. So we are 3 challenges done, and they are shaken by Daniel's possible death. I don't know if they couldn't pull the pool cover off to double check, or if they just didn't want to see it, because they did see it on like broadcast. And Lips had told them like, hey, everybody's watching this in real time. No. So she's just like, you know, they can watch clips on YouTube, but then they get taken to a different site to pay if they want to finish watching the show. So after they think Daniel died, they're very shaken up, because now they're like, their fears are confirmed that they can die on this show. And they're like hanging out in the lobby, and one day Lips comes out into the lobby, and they're just like, where did she come from? And she reveals that she doesn't know any more about the show than they know, that she thought it was a reality show. She got paid half up front, and she's waiting for the other half, that she has been in this like compartment on the ship that isn't on the blueprint, so that's why they didn't know where she was. It's completely soundproof, and she's down there by herself, she said. And yeah, so she says she was down there by herself. She was given enough food, water, and like just like amenities where her electricity was on, and she's been living comfortably on the ship while they've been suffering. But now she tells them, like, with Daniel's death, I don't know what's happening. And she introduces this element where she's just like, the show is actually being streamed on the dark web. And they are like shocked, and they don't know how to process this. She was like, there's people, she's like, do you know what a red room is? On the dark web, that means it's a room where people can log in and watch someone be killed. Sometimes they can even give money to see the person killed the way they want them killed. So they get terrified with this information, and some of them are just like, no, this can't be what's happening, this can't be legal. And Franny, the young girl, she's just like, this is 100% legal because I studied maritime law. In the Atlantic Ocean, no country has jurisdiction over what's happening right here. So that's why they've moored us here near the Atlantic. And, you know, they have fears going through them now, and now they're more and more worried. They're all like building on their fear of what could be happening if they're just gonna die. Is the show ever going to end? Or are they just competing for these prizes that they're never gonna have? And Lips is just like, I really don't know. I really don't know what to tell you. Finally, Franny's challenge comes up, and her challenge was air. But the little says, I'm actually nominating Kaz to do mine. I'm sorry. And Kaz looks at her like, I already did my challenge. This is yours. You can do it. And Franny's like, you can hate me if you want, but I can't do this. Like, I'm sorry. I think you'll do well. But if you hate me, I understand. And she's like become very depressed, very sad. And finally, so Kaz does do her challenge, which is like climbing up the mast, grabbing a key, coming down. And they get little rewards for these challenges, like food. Even though the food isn't great, it's just like cold food that's been in a fridge, so it's not heated up. It doesn't taste well, but they've been starving, so they're eating it. But one of the meals did knock them out, like it was drugged or something. So it's like they're just like have all these emotions and psychological torture happening. And okay, so Kaz finishes the challenge, and shortly after that, Franny commits suicide. She jumps over the ship, and of course everybody's devastated. And Lip says that Franny was actually the most popular contestant on the show, so she's giving them weird information about like what she knows, and they don't really trust her. So now it's just Kaz and Walter on this ship, right? And I forgot what happened, but something led them to say, let's go into the ballroom. Oh no, let me back up. Okay, so Lips gets taken away in a helicopter. She does a distraction, and then Kaz and Walter see her going away on a helicopter. And Walter, and they're just like very depressed afterwards because they're like, we don't even know if anything she said was true, if she was just like playing us for the cameras. And they're just like steeped in like psychological torture at this point. But then Walter finds out that Lips left behind a key card, and it was for the ballroom. It was labeled. So they're just like, hey, let's go to the ballroom and see what's hiding back there. Maybe there's like equipment that works or something. So they go to the ballroom, and they hear the dogs barking. They had set the dogs loose at some point to catch like the rats on ship. So they hear the dogs also in the ballroom. So they open the ballroom, and there is like this unholy smell that comes out. And eventually they turn on the flashlight, they turn on the lights, and they see just a pile of stacked dead bodies that are rotting, oozing, and falling apart. And Kaz recognizes a few of the faces as people that had worked on the ship. So they immediately leave, and it was just like, it was a very like gross moment. It was just like everyone that they were told was safe on board is now dead and piled up in the boat. So Kaz convinces Walter to jump off the ship. She's like, we don't know what the hell's happening. This is disgusting. This is beyond any moral depravity that we thought they were capable of. So let's just jump off ship. Maybe we'll die, maybe we won't, but it's better than being on the ship. But she does tell him, if Lips got picked up by a helicopter, there has to be land nearby. So they do their best. They tie on life jackets. They take a few bottles of water that they had left, and they jump. And Walter sinks to the bottom. And Kaz feels terrible about this because she convinced him he didn't want to jump. But they already knew that the lifeboats were tampered with. So it makes sense that some of the life jackets were tampered with as well. So Kaz is just floating in the Atlantic Ocean, freezing, and trying to like propel her, let the waves take her to wherever land is. Eventually, she sees a rescue team. She gets rescued. She gets put back on the ship, and she's hysterical. She's like, I don't want to go back there. And they were just like, don't worry, this is over. Like, you're gonna do like your talks. You won the show basically. And she doesn't really have an option, so she goes on ship. She eventually gets warm, and it is revealed to her that yes, she was on a reality show, but she was always safe. That even though like some of the stuff didn't really make sense, she was like, when I had to climb that mast, there was no like, I wasn't tied to anything. Like, I could have fallen at any moment and just immediately died. And they were like, no, there was airbags immediately ready to be deployed. Even though you didn't know it, there was a whole crew at the bottom of the ship working. And also, Daniel and Franny were actors on the show. Only Kaz and Walter were the real unknowing participants of this show. So she's processing all this information and it just sounds awful. And she's getting pushed to do talk shows, and she's just like, the weird thing is, like, they tortured me. They mess with my mind in ways that I'll never recover, but they're acting like I should be grateful because I won. So one thing I forgot to add is that when they saw the bodies, apparently a lot of them were fake bodies and some of them were actors. So when she gets back on the ship, they have like the prosthetic makeup and stuff, and they're just waving like happily, like, oh, you won. I forgot to mention the reason why the reality show says that they got their permission is in that big long contract that they signed when they got on the cruise, where it's just like you're responsible for your, you know, just like the fine terms and conditions that you sign anywhere that you don't read. So in that contract, it was like you agree to be a part of the show if you were picked. So when she talks to her partner's just like, oh, they told us that like we had to leave. There was an emergency drill in Cork. I couldn't move you because like she was drugged. But he says, like, they told me they were going to bring you, but then you weren't there, and then they let us know about the show, and we didn't think it was going to be as bad as it was, and then by the time we saw what was, like, happening, I couldn't reach you, I couldn't do anything, I tried to contact lawyers, this and that, blah, 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 and she eventually, like, just trusts him again, and she's like, okay, he was just as much of a victim as I was, and they get on a plane to go back to her country, like, I forgot where she lives, somewhere in the UK, so she gets on the plane and she's like, you know what, I'll do my best to get over what happened, and like, what else can I do? So she goes to the bathroom, she's giving herself this pep talk, and then she walks back to her seat and the plane is empty, and that's where the book ends. So like, I enjoyed this book. It was a page turner. I loved every minute reading it, but I didn't love the ending. Like, I don't like a loose-ended ending or one that I don't know what the hell is happening now. Anyways, that's it for that book. This vlog is now wrapped up. I hope you enjoyed it, and let me know if you have read this book and if you enjoyed it. Bye!